Hey guys, and welcome back. And if you're new here, thanks so much for joining us today. So, I just started editing the video that you guys are about to watch and realized that the first two clips were corrupted. So, the intro is gone, and then me showing the ingredients and talking about what it is that I'm going to make and how I'm going to make it is gone. So I am now sitting outside in the middle of editing and decided, okay, let me go ahead and do this little clip so that you guys know what's going on, because I'm obviously not looking the same as I do in the video. So, as you may remember from the first vlog when I did the pork loin, I told you I had two more in the freezer. So I defrosted one, and I wasn't really in the mood for like a big slab of meat. I was craving something more traditional Cuban, like masitas de puerco. Those are basically pork chunks. So why not go ahead and cut up the pork loin into little cubes and cook it the way I normally would. Alright, so that was basically the intro, if I remember correctly. The second part, when I was showing you all the ingredients, I guess that you'll just see as I'm cooking, because obviously I don't have all that out anymore. But I will say that typically pork chunks, anything that's pork or chicken related, I typically like to marinate for at least a couple of hours to overnight. And I like to use naranja agria, which is sour orange, or mojo. The brand I typically buy is the Badia brand. There's a whole bunch of different mojos, but that's my favorite one. When I don't have either one on stock, because that I do buy pre-made, then I'll go ahead and just make my own. If I have oranges, I'll go ahead and squeeze one whole orange, and I'll squeeze about one or two limes inside a Ziploc bag and just go ahead and rub that chicken or that pork really well. I'll season it with all my normal seasonings that I use with you guys. Pink salt, black pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, cumin, sazon. And then sometimes if I want to go the extra mile, the same way as mojo has, I'll go ahead and dice up onion really small and mince garlic and throw that in the bag too. Oh my god, that marinade is super delicious. So that's how you would make your homemade mojo if you don't have it. As we're traveling, I'm sure I'm going to run into stores that don't have it, so I'll be making it myself pretty often. So that's it. Let's go ahead and kick off with the clips I do have. It looks like it started after I was done cutting the pork chunks. So here we go. Alright, so I am going to throw all of this pork inside of this bowl so that I can season it and get my hands all mixed in there for the seasoning to get nice and coated. I'm not going to need the knife or that anymore, so let me transfer my seasonings over here. And we're going to be generous with salt. Pork and salt get along great. We're going to be generous with everything, as a matter of fact. With my onion powder. Garlic powder. Black pepper. Not too generous with that, I guess. And then the little packets of the sazon. All right, now time to get my hands dirty. Let me actually take off my ring. Time to get my hands dirty and mix it all up. That's it. I am going to give my hands a rinse, and we are going to go ahead and oil the pan and start frying this up. See, I'm going to grab this. Let's grab it from the side so that the handle can stay clean. Pork is marinated, hands are washed, cutting board and knife are washed. Let's go ahead and start cutting the plantain. So we usually make these couple of different ways. The green ones, we make them as tostones, which is basically double frying them. You cut it into little, I guess, cylinders or cubes, and then you would fry it on each side. And once it's kind of crispy and tender on each side, then you smash them and then cut them and then fry them again. This one is maduro. So the blacker they are, the better, because then that's the sweeter that they'll be. And then once you peel it, you'll go ahead and cut it into slices and also fry it. And they basically become caramelized and they're so delicious this way. The in between, them being yellow instead of black or green, not a big deal to cook them. They might be good inside of soups, stews. Lou does like eating them boiled, so you can definitely do that. So like this part, once it's yellow, it's not completely ripe, so it won't be as sweet. You can still make it this way, it just won't be as delicious. But I like sticking this inside of my beef soups too. Lou had never had the plantain inside of her beef soup until I made it that way. And it gives it like a savoriness from the beef and the vegetables and then a little tinge of sweetness. It's really good. That one I'll do with the yellow bananas. Well, plátanos, not bananas. Plantains. All right, so all these are ready to get fried. Pork is ready to get fried. Let me throw this skin away and start adding oil to the pans. Alrighty, so let's start with the front, which is where I'm going to do the pork. I'm going to put it on a medium high. We're going to go with the back. And that one I'm going to go on like a medium low. You want enough oil for the plantains to just coat the bottom of it. So it doesn't have to be really high. And then for the pork chops, basically the same. Just coat the pan. Just enough to coat it. Doesn't have to be deep fried. So we're going to let that get hot and then we'll start throwing our ingredients on it. In the meantime, I'll go ahead and start opening up the chickpea can so that we can cook for Craigie. All right, I put a pause there because obviously you're going to be like, what is she talking about? And I didn't even remember when I started editing that I wasn't just cooking for me and Lou on this video. Lou's sister and brother-in-law joined us for the first leg of our trip. Marianna, Florida, Biloxi, Mississippi, and Columbus, Texas. And there were days that I'd cook for the four of us instead of just me and Lou. Lou's sister's husband is vegetarian. So since he couldn't have the pork chunks with us, I went ahead and made him some more of those. I think I'm going to see now when I edit it, some more of the garbanzo frito since I had sofrito left over, which you saw in a previous vlog. So now that I explained who Craigie is, let's go back to watching the remainder of this vlog. Oh, this is already sizzling. So since it's sizzling, I took out 2 forks. One for me to touch the pork with, and then one for me to touch the plantains with. We'll start throwing them in here. I cut them fairly small. I love huge pork chunks, but Lou likes more of bite-sized pieces, so I think this is somewhat in the middle. They're kind of big, but they're not necessarily bite-sized pieces, maybe 2 bites per cube. Oh, that one came out a little bit bigger. All right, so the pork chunks are in. I am going to let those fry down for a couple minutes until they get nice and golden, and then we will flip them. The fork for the pork is going to go in there. Here is my clean fork, and we're going to go ahead and start throwing the plantains in. All right. Excellent. I finished cleaning the bowl and I wanted to check in here and start flipping these around. I'm tempted to use my ladle and just turn them all around, but I want to make sure that the uncooked part is touching the surface for all of them. So yes, I am going to take my time and flip them one by one because pork is not something you want to play with. You want to make sure it's completely cooked. Ooh, this side is hotter than the other side, I guess because the other stove is on too. These are more golden. Alright, let's flip these plantains. Ooh, that's hot. Let me go to the other side. The plantains are flipped. I am going to just turn the pan around because one side is obviously hotter than the other since the both of these are on. Flip them around and I'm going to do the same thing with my pork since one side is getting more crispy than the other. All right. Perfect. The plantains are nice and golden on both sides at this point. Let me go ahead and double check. Look under. I think it can actually run for another minute. Yeah. So while that is going for another minute, I am now going to just stir these around. That's actually all she wrote, guys. The plantains are out. They're done. The pork is done. I'm going to take these out as well. And the garbanzos for my brother-in-law are just about done as well. So let's turn off the heat and start plating. All right, so we are served. Here's Lou's plate and my plate. You'll see the fluffy white rice, the crispy, chunky pork, the sliced avocado, and then the sweet plantains. She already took the dishes for her sister and brother-in-law over to their rig because we left the bed open today, so they can't come eat with us here. So we're gonna go eat over there. Hence, we're not gonna be able to really do a taste test with you guys. But I did ask her. Oops, I did ask her. Let's take one little bite of the pork together with you. And Lucy's furious because she wants some of that food. Let me put this on. Hello. Okay. And let's see here. Let me grab two small pieces. The little piece for you. Now remember, this didn't get marinated overnight with like the mojo.
But the aromatherapy was amazing.
It still smelled good. Oh, yeah. Seasoning it last minute.
Oh my god.
Because I cut them so small, they cooked faster. And then they kind of like let out their own fat.
Oh my god.
And you saw the bubbling of the oil. The meat is still super tender.
It's amazing.
It's
soft. It's flaky. The little crust has like all the flavor in the world.
All right. If you enjoyed cooking with me today, please give me a big thumbs up. Comment down below. Let me know some pork recipes that you enjoy most. And if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. And we will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.